Hi,
Hi.
Advait. Welcome to the
Hi, hi.
show. A huge honor to have you.
Thank you.
Could you introduce yourself, please?
So I'm Advait. I am a international badminton player. I have been playing badminton since past 15 to 16 years. Then like sports psychology was something which I was always curious to know about.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did my bachelor's in psychology, and then I realized that this is something interesting, I should go and study about it. So I decided to go with the go and like go to UK, did do my masters from UK to learn more about what is sports psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, apart from that, I'm into coaching and few athletes I have coached now representing India. So that's a good. Like,
Nice.
it's just my background. Yeah.
Right. So the topic we are going to discuss is sports psychology. So can we begin? Can I ask you what is sports psychology?
Yeah. So I won't like to like personally. I don't like to go by the definition. But
Mm-hmm.
then sports psychology is basically anything which helps athlete with regarding their mental health. So there are many problems in athletes' life, like they can't handle the tournament pressure or
Mm-hmm.
they get scared of opponent. When I was competing, there was one player. If he is in my draw, if he is in my half, I'm like gone. Like control ही नहीं कर पाता था टाइप. So yeah, so just to how to handle, no one teaches us because coaches are more into the technical terms
Right.
of any sport. How to cope with those mental aspects. Every athlete goes through it. It's not like there are few athletes who don't go through it. So the one whom like I was scared of, he was scared of someone else, just at like higher level. So every athlete goes through that, and just to adjust how to cope with these things, there are many factors. For example, I read this article few days back, for those who are traveling to Commonwealth Games,
Mm-hmm.
which has finished now. It was recommended that they should carry their own pillows and sheets. These things affect the performance of athletes, and anything which affects psychologically in regards with performance of athlete, we help them regarding that.
Right. Okay. So what are some of the objectives of a sports psychologist when dealing with a particular sports team as a whole?
Uh, so basically, I believe that few of the main things that we can like
Mm-hmm.
uh, focus on are so my personal expertise in coach athlete relationship.
Right.
So I did my thesis on it, and this is I according to me, since I know about that aspect a lot, I think coach athlete relationship is something which helps athlete to enhance their performance, because we have seen in history in like I don't want to point out anything, but in various sports, in cricket, in badminton, in hockey, how bad coach affects the good team. So in terms of like helping the team as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
coach athlete relationship is something which is very important, that I believe. But apart from that, team cohesion and team building are like main factors. So I'll just give you example. I read this quote. It's not related to sports, but then instead of having expert team players, you
Mm-hmm.
can have two experts and rest of them who are not that expert. So we can't have in a team, even if you see the Indian cricket team, there
Mm-hmm.
are everyone is not the leader. You can't
Mm-hmm.
have all the leaders in one team. It's the combination of all. So to
Okay.
decide that, all we help like we help we have tests which helps us to understand the like how individual is, and depending on that, the whole like team building, how
Mm-hmm.
the team should be, how the coach athlete relationship should be, works. I know it's like too much layer on layer and layer, but then this is like this these are the things which includes in the like as a sports psychologist for a team.
Right. Okay. So, what therapeutic skills can be applied to enhance the performance of a sportsman?
Okay, so I'll just give like brief
Right.
of like few aspects. If you think about it, we have learned that like over everyone, not just
Mhm.
sports players, but everyone has learned about the goal setting.
Right.
You should have goals. You should do
Mhm.
the goals. So for sports background, it's more specific. You should have goals. We call it smart goals. You should have goals. Okay, so for example, let's take me as a athlete. For
Mhm.
me, my goal is to play Olympics.
Okay.
Then I am playing at district. So districts, then zonals, sometimes then states, then perform better in state, beat in top 3, 4, then go for nationals, be in
Mhm.
again top 3, 4, then go to internationals, then struggle there for like at least 4 to 5 years, because even though we have seen this in past,
Mhm.
the I don't remember a Indian athlete who was India rank 1, but directly went to international and keep winning the tournaments. It's the international pressure, international like when
Right.
you go at that level, it's the entire scenario changes.
Mhm.
So these are the small things. So now for me, if I have to keep my goal setting, so goal should be specific. Like for this year, my goal is to I am not winning my first round. My
Mhm.
end goal, my long term goal is to play Olympics. But right
Right.
now, the reality is I'm not winning my first round. So deciding that realistically, okay, keeping my goal as like I am going to win by end of this year. I am going to win the state tournament is unrealistic
Mhm.
because I'm not winning the first round in district only.
Right.
So keeping those unrealistic, then timely, as I mentioned, in 1 year, in 1 month, on
Mhm.
today, keeping them like time bound, smart goals we call it. So S is for specific, M is for
Right.
measurable as in like yeah, we can see the progress.
Mhm.
Last tournament I played for until second round. After that I played for like semis, and third
Mhm.
tournament again I lost in first round. So it's measurable. Then time bound, as I mentioned.
Right.
And what else? Yeah, so this is the like whole of goal setting part I mentioned. That's
Mhm.
the one aspect of things we do in sports psychology. Another aspect, if we talk about, is self-talk. We
Right.
everyone keeps talking to themselves. So now we
Mhm.
are discussing. I'm talking to myself in my mind. You are
Yeah.
also thinking about something in your mind.
Right.
Athletes also tend to do the same thing.
Mhm.
Even though we can see, if you have seen Rahul Dravid batting,
Mhm.
we see that he's very calm. He don't talk like loudly, talk it out loud. But there are many things going at back of his mind. So just to making them in a particular direction. That's called self-talk. Like
Right.
monitoring those things and self-talk. So positive self-talk is something which we you know uh, which we teach basically, because negative things keeps coming. So uh, suppose that I'll just give example. There is one athlete, no one expects him to win.
Right.
Okay, and he beat like top 3 players in his first 3 rounds,
Mhm.
like very good players. On okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. Before his fourth round,
Mhm.
what happened is one of like he is using some, suppose AirPods.
Mhm.
He lost one of them.
Okay.
Positive things are happening. Like apart from that, there is no problem. He
Mhm.
because he won this like he defeat all these top players. He got sponsorer in
Right.
initially. Everything is going good, but then he lost his one of his AirPods
Yeah.
and he lost his fourth round. So 100 good things are happening around us. Only one bad thing happens.
Mhm.
Everything is vanished.
Right.
So to make sure that no positive self-talk, that it's okay, I can buy it again, I will
Mhm.
have sufficient funds, now I have to focus on this.
Right.
I have to keep talking to myself in that manner, just giving the correct direction,
Right.
which is what like if like I have recently started reading
Mhm.
this thing, Bhagavad Gita.
Mhm.
So like Arjun was too much distracted. What Krishna did is just giving the specific direction.
Mhm.
So that's how the self-talk works. Apart from that, self-awareness is a bit, which is, many people doubt themselves a lot.
Right. Right.
Same like for sports also. You have capabilities. So this major change has been observed since pandemic. Two
Okay.
years, no practice, no tournaments. After that, players started like everyone started playing, and
Mhm.
changes. We have seen the changes. So those who are playing at good level, even though they like, I'll tell you from the both perspective, the good players and bad players. Even though they was in practice, they were doing something. What comes to their mind is, I haven't played since past 2 years. That other athletes, they have practiced for 2 years. I don't know their game. How can I manage to beat them?
Right.
So this is like he is completely aware कि if he goes and play, he's going to win, or he's going to do his best.
Mhm.
But then that's self doubt. Or for those who are like not in the top like top category, or not like they're kind of
Mhm.
ups and downs wale players. For them it's more like he got 2 years ka gap. Now he has been practicing like anything. I have
Mhm.
seen his videos on Instagram doing this and doing that. And even though same practice I am also doing, I am not like, it's not, he is not aware of that he is also doing the same level of practice. It's more
Right.
about, I saw him doing that practice, and now what can I do?
Right.
Everything is stuff.
How
How
can you
can I
deal
like
with this tendency of attaching your self worth towards your achievements?
sorry, I didn't get your question.
So sports persons have a tendency to attach your self worth with your achievements. So how can a sports psychologist deal with that?
Yeah, so achievements, see,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll give another perspective. I am into coaching also. So as a coach, what I tend to do is, whether you become a good badminton player or not, that doesn't depends on who you are as a person.
Yeah.
You win the tournament, you lose the tournament. Your things, few things are never going to change. So achievements, I know that's important. I know,
Mm-hmm.
but then there are many factors. So suppose two players say playing at same level, doing the same training, having same diet, but then there is no parental support for one.
Okay.
Parents are like, you have to study. This is, you have till 10th
Mm-hmm.
standard. If you don't play national internationals, your career is over. You have to do whatever we do, whatever we are going to tell you. Another is, we have your like, parents are giving support. They know that it will take time, but he keeps doing it. Like, just play and be dedicated. So this is the difference. And now there is a strong possibility that the second player will make it. And even though there is a again possibility that first one is very talented, he won't make it, just
Mm-hmm.
because he can't handle that pressure.
Right.
So whenever I take the sessions with parents, this is the major factor. And I have seen two like extremes. Parents supporting like anything and interfering like anything. Like, coach is there, senior coach is there, physio is there on the on the training ground, and parent is telling their son or daughter what to do. Even though parent haven't played at any sport, like football, for like I have seen this for football, all three were there, and parent is telling their child what to do. Then
Right.
what happens
That
is
confuses the child
coach
also, right?
gets, yeah, coach get distracted कि why are they doing this? You are paying me fee, नहीं तो लेके take your son home and teach
Mm-hmm.
them at home. So another factor of the
Mm-hmm.
sports psychology as a whole, I would say कि coach athlete and parent relationship. Like I have realized after coming here,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's the another main aspect. See,
Mm-hmm.
goal is saying to make the athlete to the top,
Okay.
but then for both, like for coach also, they want their athlete to play well, play at nationals, internationals. For
Mm-hmm.
parents also, they want their son or daughter to play at nationals, international.
Mm-hmm.
It's the communication gap. There is huge. Making those clear communication. Ki he is the coach. I'm not going to tell him what to teach my son. Or
Right.
making sure they are the parents. They are concerned about their son or daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So if they say something, it's coming from concern, not to like, not to doubt the coach's ability.
Right.
This is the thing that they need to,
Right.
understand. And like fortunately, I got a chance to deal with such case, and it worked out really well. So yeah, like I think I got distracted about telling this incident. Can you just repeat your question?
So that was my question. My next question would be, what is performance anxiety and how to deal with that?
Okay, so performance anxiety. Everyone like performance anxiety basically means before you go to the tournament, it happens. It happens with
It
everyone.
happens. Right.
Before we go to exam, we have that like we did all these things, but still I haven't missed anything, or what will happen if this question comes which I haven't prepared.
Right.
So that happens. It's more about how individual manages that pressure or manages that anxiety. So I'll just performance anxiety, I'll go like towards more towards how to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
Like performance anxiety, I think everyone knows how it is, like what happens when you get anxious, when you get pressure. How to manage it, it's very simple, like the things I have just told. Having
Mm-hmm.
positive self talk, or or being self aware. Like I know, like for even like not for the sports, but then if we take the same example, that I have studied 90% of my syllabus.
Mm-hmm.
If even though if I don't study the 10%, I'm still getting 90%.
Mm-hmm.
you know Being self aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
Many players, many students, many of us are not aware. Again, the same thing, like 100 positive things and one negative things vanishes everything. So managing those things, managing those thoughts, it's very important, and that's what makes individual anxious. Having those self talk, having those self awareness session,
Mm-hmm.
building it over the period. So sports psychologist is not someone who will be with you for like for throughout your career. It's basically how can I explain? You have a car or you have a scooter, it's working well,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and something happened to it. Suppose there is
Okay.
problem in engine. You go to mechanic, he repairs it, you start
Mm-hmm.
driving it again.
Mm-hmm.
For 6 7 months there is no issue. Again, some issue happens in carburetor or wherever,
Right.
or you just need to do the servicing.
Mm-hmm.
You go back and uh, do it, continues.
Right.
So sports psychologist is more of that. You are the one who is going to drive the scooter. Consider, like, imagine scooter or car is your career. You are the one who is going to take entire responsibility. We are
Mm-hmm.
just to deal with that particular situation pe jo problem. So for example, athletes like this, apparently I am very surprised to know that in India, all the cases I have, everyone has problem with goal setting.
Right.
Like 90% of them have problem with goal setting. Goals, they have to play, like they
Um,
have goal to play at Olympics and play for IPL. how to go towards that, they don't know.
Right.
What they need to do today to achieve the goal which they have set for after 5 years, or
Mm-hmm.
for next now 2028 Olympics
Right.
or
Right.
2032 Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
They have that goal, but for that they need to work today. And what if I ask them, what work you want to do today? What work you're going to do today? They don't answer. They don't know कि क्या करें.
Right.
So, make for the whole part is making themselves. Okay, this is the goal for today. I am going to let's take four factors: strength,
Yeah.
relaxation, agility, and suppose what we can say, strengthening, relaxation, agility training, and endurance training.
Right.
So they are doing this.
Mm-hmm.
They have four fitness sessions per week. They are doing this every week. They don't have specific goal for that. So for strength today, I am going to focus more on my this particular muscle and build it. No, my coach has told me, my SNC coach has told me, I have to do this reps, that's it. If I do this, no, this is not how it is going to make you achieve your end goal. It's
Mm-hmm.
making those small steps. Today I am going to work on my legs, like despite of whatever the things I have told to do. So suppose I'm doing my or full body workout. So
Right.
today my goal will be doing it on legs. And my like for today I will be focusing more on my legs for agility. Today I'm going to make sure that my entire feet is not on ground. I'm doing on my toes.
Yeah.
Making those small goals,
Right.
achieving it, and then making again, like we don't study the entire book in a night. Like
Mm-hmm.
we tend to do that, but
Right.
we don't study the entire book. What
Mm-hmm.
like usually schools are for that, will teach you step by step. So we
Right.
don't think about the career or about this particularly sporting career in that way.
Right. So when your emotions are very overpowering due to performance anxiety and it is difficult for you to play, how do you deal with that? Like, do you take any breathing
So
exercise?
this has been happening with me for a long time. And because this happened with me, like too many thoughts, and it's not like in a flow wale thoughts. It's like,
Okay.
um what if my strings break? So I'll go more into badminton for this
Right.
particular question. What if my strings break, or what if
Mm-hmm.
my racket broke, what if my
Mm-hmm.
shoes breaks? So these are
Mm-hmm.
not like inclined towards what will my parents think,
Mm-hmm.
what if I get injured, what if I get, um what will my coach think, what will I get hit by the shuttle. Like, um I got hit by the shuttle because I was standing near the net once.
Right.
And then that makes me anxious that, what if something hits me. So the overflow of emotions, like in when I went to UK to study about these things,
Mm-hmm.
I learn about this there is very simple Indian thing that we can do, which is
Okay.
breathing, which we do in yoga,
Mm-hmm.
that helps us to concentrate on the present thing.
Right.
These are all are the future things that I mentioned. What if my strings break? What my coach will think? What
Right.
if I get hit by something?
Right.
It's
Right.
the breathing thing. It's
Right.
the just closing your eyes, just taking deep breaths, and you will be in the present. You will think about what you need to do.
Right.
So overthinking, I know this is very temporary solution and this needs lot of practice.
It
But
does.
then yeah, but then this is the solution that I have discovered, that if you are at that point, because
Mm-hmm.
see, again,
Sorry.
overthinking. So
Mm-hmm.
for all the players, for all the athletes, they need the instant fix. Like considering this question, I think someone is on the field in the
Mm-hmm.
tournament or in the competition. and he is getting those overthinking, like those, lots of thoughts in mind.
Right.
So
Right.
the quick fix for that
Mm-hmm.
is to just being calm
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on what present is. And to
Right.
do that, taking few deep breath, and then going ahead for the, like, looking around. Yeah, this is the present. Okay, future we don't know. We might win. We never think about this,
Mm-hmm.
and then going ahead with it. But
Right.
then, if you if my, like few of sorry, if you want to, like, make it habit, you need to take lot of effort about this, and that's the goal of the sports psychology, that over the period you have to keep practicing, and then it will happen automatically.
Yeah. What is your specialization and how can one contact you?
Okay, so my specialization, as far like I since I come from the individual sports background, I can relate to those situation far better than the
Mm-hmm.
team sports. But then I do work with players also, because consider, like, every athlete is individual. If I'm working with team, but then every athlete will have the same similar problems. So more into individual sports,
Mm-hmm.
and coach athlete relationship is my specialization, and I like to, like, I work on that quite a bit.
What is that?
uh, Sorry.
What is coach athlete relationship?
So coach athlete relationship is basically, um how the, like, how can I give you example? Okay, so if the consider there is a team, team A. Okay, they got a new coach who
Mm-hmm.
is person A.
Okay.
How that team will adapt the coach, it depends.
Right.
So if you think about Rahul Dravid now,
Mm-hmm.
the Indian team absorbed the coach very, very well, because he gives that freedom to athletes. So depending on the athlete's needs,
Mm-hmm.
how coach manages those things, how coach is going to, um, make those changes which are necessary.
Right.
This is more into the coach athlete relationship. There are few models. One of them is compass model, then there is petlep model, which is more technical things. But
Mm-hmm.
then it's more about, managing those coach and athletes relations, and making and working on it, by which the players performance get enhanced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
and this usually, like, I'll tell you another thing. So if you think about Sachin Tendulkar, he
Mm-hmm.
never had the same coach from earlier of his career until end of his career. He
Mm-hmm.
changed those coaches. The few coaches come, they went out, then another few coaches come. So what happened is he has to change according to the coach, change his game. One coach is going to tell him that no, 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 you are going to stand still, keep your back straight. And another coach is, you can be relaxed. Like, if you want to go on a strike, you have to keep your back straight, and then only play. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is just like hypothetical example. I'm
Right.
not into coaching, but then another coach can tell you, you can just be relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is more towards the coach's part of thing, that making those small changes in athlete. So, these are the first two coaches. What third coach comes in, he tells him that it's okay, whatever you play, make sure you don't get injured, and make sure you perform well. What suits you better? If you keep yourself relaxed, or if you keep yourself, like, stiff, what
Right.
suits you? So he goes with relax. So you
Right.
making that understanding, making
Mm-hmm.
those things, like, yeah, this is the thing, I need to work on this. And then, like, this is the whole coach athlete. Actually, we can have another podcast on, like, how to manage
Right.
what is
Right.
coach
Right.
athlete relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last question I want to ask you is, what is
Just
the
just
yeah,
a
yeah.
quick one. Some if someone wants to get in connect with me, you
Right,
asked
right,
this
right.
question.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I am on LinkedIn by name
Mm-hmm.
Advait Vanarse,
Mm-hmm.
and you can check out with me on Instagram also. I'm not that active on Instagram. Again, same Advait Vanarse, and if you
Right,
want to drop me an email, it's advaitvanarse@gmail.com. I'll
right,
just uh, yeah. And last
right.
question. Go.
Yeah. What is the scope of sports psychology in India?
Okay, so it's in very early stage,
Mm-hmm.
honestly saying. So there are few very good sports psychologists in India, and they are dominating the field. Okay,
Okay.
so there are only 4 5 sports psychologists, and if we want to develop that ecosystem in
Uh-huh.
India, to be India at that top sports level, there needs to be more sports psychologists. So I'm not saying there are like only 4 to 5 sports psychologists in India. It's not the case. But then those who are at top level, there are only 4 to 5, or like, if I'm not sure if there are more, but then I am
Mm-hmm.
aware of 4 to 5 sports psychologists.
Right.
Talking about the sports industry itself in India is around $6 billion. I was just doing some research 2 days ago and I read about this. So
Right.
if you consider $6 billion, of course there are sponsors and all these
Mm-hmm.
things, but then the industry itself, it is growing exponentially. If you talk about world, it's around like 600 or $700 billion. So the industry itself, it's a huge industry in
It's good.
overall
Yeah.
sporting industry, and with a government initiative like Khelo India or School Olympics, it's
Mm-hmm.
getting that boost. But making people aware of what is sports psychology is very important. So as we know, like everyone, if you knows, like I spoke with very good friend of mine whose dad is businessman, and they are like very wealthy family, but then still they have that thing that like they think in a way that if you are going to psychologist, you are mental, like you have some mental issue. So making that awareness, many
Awareness.
people
Yeah.
don't even know about what, like, sports psychology exists. When
Mm-hmm.
I tell like my relatives, my like few friends that I am a sports psychologist, they are like, we are not aware what is sports psychology. So making them aware that yeah, this is the field, this is the career,
Yeah.
is something which needs to be done. And talking about the sports, it will take time to develop that in India. So for me, my personal advice will be, um, like, this is completely personal. I'm not telling people to not to come in, but then if you are planning to come to the sports psychology industry, make sure you have lot of patience. And if you don't have patience, you can still be in the industry, but then make sure you have a backup plan.
Yeah.
So you can do both things simultaneously in a way. So sports psychology along with something which you have done in previously, or which you are expert in. So
Right.
it needs to be balanced. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like you did the, like, it's not like engineering. You did engineering, like you did masters in suppose like some field of engineering, and you
Uh-huh.
get a job and that's it. It's still at the basic level. So having that like balance, this is from my perspective. I
Right.
might be wrong, but then for me, I think it's managing the both things.
Mm-hmm.
Thing.
Right. Thank you so much for your insights. It was lovely to have you on the show. I'll just stop the recording.